From the insane backlash against Tyson for taking up the fight to UFC pros showing support for Francis, here's how fighters have reacted to the Fury versus Ngannou bout. A lot of them are convinced that the Gypsy King is only looking for his own advantage, and Chael Sonnen has been the loudest voice yet. The American promoter believes that the Fury-Ngannou fight set for October 28, 2023 is the most ridiculous sporting competition of our lifetime, and he elaborated by giving the example of a Lakers versus Patriot match. That would be totally unmatched, right? An NBA team going against an NFL team is just unheard of and will remain so. And Sonnen thinks this upcoming fight is just the same, as Francis is making the switch over to boxing from his previous 10-year UFC career. To be fair, the American gangster does have a point, that it's a total mismatch to put a seasoned vet in boxing against a guy who's never been in the ring in his life. But Chael went so far as to say that Tyson was being a bully and a scumbag for accepting this fight. He has great coaches, great training partners, and great experiences in his career, while Ngannou is on the other side with nothing to his name. So it's unfair for him to push for a matchup. Chael also mentioned that the Predator is quickly aging out of his prime. At 37 years old, he has a bad knee and has just moved out of the UFC to join the PFL, so all these factors make him especially vulnerable in front of Fury. And this isn't just Sonnen's opinion, no. Many pros have come out to say how unnecessary this match seems. Former boxer Carl Froch talked about the news, calling the match rubbish and uninteresting. The Brit thinks that this match won't satisfy boxing fans at all, as they've mostly all been raving for an Alexander Usyk versus GK fight, or even for him to go against Anthony Joshua. Basically, the fans want to see the WBC title on the line. Unfortunately, it's been announced that the October fight set in Riyadh won't, in fact, have Tyson's hard-earned title on the cards and will be more of an event fight for both MMA and boxing stands. Froch has said that after all the hype about a game-changer and brilliant fight that Fury created, hearing about an MMA fighter as his opponent is just disappointing. It's not a real fight if there aren't two boxing pros in the ring. Fellow Brit boxer Matthew Macklin has shared similar thoughts, saying that the Gypsy King shouldn't expect fans to not give him a hard time for this decision, as it really is just a money-grabbing fight and nothing else. Macklin wished both the fighters good luck, but added that it won't be a truly fun fight, at least not like a Fury-Usyk match would have been. So it's safe to say that the boxing world is let down by Tyson's move. But in reality, it's not really his fault. After the Ngannou fight was announced, the World Boxing Council released a statement on Twitter saying that GK had reached out to Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua, and Usyk, but no official agreement could have been reached. So, in the absence of a challenger, he was granted special permission to face off against the Predator in the ring. And not just that, Tyson's dad, the Irish pro boxer John Fury, has claimed that most of this backlash is just jealousy, as everyone and their mother knows that their son is the undisputed best heavyweight in the world, second only to the legendary Muhammad Ali. Fury Sr. said that anyone with a brain would have accepted the fight because it's just good business, and the payday is also hella hefty, so all the irrelevant people spouting hate should step aside. He even touched on the fact that Tyson wasn't able to bag an official challenger, saying, "I know fans are what we want, but what can he do? No one wants to fight the kid." So, of course, the Brit wasn't going to let an opportunity like this pass, and Saudi Arabia is now waiting to welcome him with open arms. Even promoter Frank Warren has jumped to Tyson's defense, explaining that while fans may want to see the boxer go against other hotshot boxers, they're all tied up in their own fights. AJ is set to fight Dillian White on the 12th of August, 2023, and Alexander has committed to defend his unified WBA, WBO, and IBF world titles against Daniel Dubias on the 26th of the same month. So there's absolutely no chance that Fury can convince them for a matchup. And I think boxing fans are truly desperate to see GK defend his title, because Warren's interviewers were bold enough to suggest that the Brit may fight other boxers, like Frank Sanchez, who's the number 4 ranked heavyweight with the WBC, or the number 5, Arslanbek Makhmudov. The promoter, of course, had a heated reaction to this suggestion, saying that the interviewers must be on another planet, as nobody would know these fighters' names, with their events not selling at all. Since Tyson's the best of his generation, and the man that brings the money, why shouldn't he choose to fight Ngannou, if that's what the former UFC star really wants? And let's be honest here, it's sparkling clear that this fight is exactly what the Cameroonian fighter was looking for when he made his controversial exit from UFC in early 2023 over to the PFL. Ngannou had finally decided that it was the right time to dip his toes into professional boxing, and since UFC boss Dana White was obviously not going to agree to that, he made the switch. But that was far from the only reason, as White revealed that Ngannou had been upset with the amount of money he was being offered at his contract renewal. He was even offered more than fighters like Brock Lesnar, but that still wasn't enough for him. At the time, obviously, there was some backlash against the Predator, with many calling it a stupid move, but now, seeing as Francis has bagged a boxing match, and one with a hefty payday at that, I can't really argue that his decision was wrong anymore. After all, the fighter pretty much got what he had set out to get, right? He's even admitted himself that comparing the Fury fight purse to his paydays in the UFC, it's day and night, and more than his entire UFC career combined. So yes, there's no doubt that some life-changing money is on its way for the Cameroon native, but it does remain to be seen whether he's all bark, no bite, because some pros think he's going to come out of the fight on the losing side. Former boxer Tony Bellew, for one, says that if Tyson wanted, he could put down Francis in one round, because he just has a hell of a lot more experience in the ring than the Predator. Francis would be a fish out of water in the fight. It'd be like a rugby player switching on to play football. Someone making his professional boxing debut against the best heavyweight in the world is crazy, and Carl Frampton totally agrees. The ex-boxer has made the exact same prediction about GKK ending the match in one round, but he acknowledged that he's only being this harsh on Ngannou because he's the one in unfamiliar territory. If Tyson was going for an MMA fight, Frampton would have bet his money on the Predator, so this is definitely a popular take on the Fury-Ngannou match. But what's a more confusing opinion is UFC welterweight Matt Brown's, who stated that Francis will need a superhuman amount of power to knock out Fury because he's the undefeated heavyweight champ in a sport that the Cameroonian will be new at. What I don't get, though, is that Brown should be well aware that Ngannou basically does have a superhuman amount of power locked inside his punches, 96 horsepower in fact, which has made the world record for the strongest punch. So people need to stop pitching him as the underdog for his upcoming bout, and it's good to see that Francis's fellows are standing right by his side. Israel Adesanya being one of his biggest supporters, as the two, alongside Kamaru Usman, have been hailed as the three kings of Africa. Izzy is very excited for the Fury fight, and as soon as he heard the news, he texted Ngannou, "I'm gonna be there to witness history." That's a great hype man right there. Even Conor McGregor has stepped up to prop up his ex-UFC fellow, even though he was initially skeptical of the whole fight. Being one of the MMA athletes who transitioned to boxing to fight a superstar, in his Mayweather fight in 2017, Conor knows a thing or two about the whole deal, and he said that Francis's punch power could cause problems for GK in the first round, so Notorious is definitely interested. And there you have it, folks. From UFC pros showing their support for Ngannou to insane backlash against Tyson for his decision, this was how fighters reacted to Fury versus Ngannou.